The Las Vegas Raiders are in the news again, this time because of a hit piece by the New York Times against Raiders owner Mark Davis. We finally get some clarity on what former interim president Dan Ventrell's claims against Mark Davis actually were. Originally, Ventrell led us to believe that Mark Davis harasses female employees, but it turns out all these complaints are actually due to financial irregularities and a little bit of underpayment from certain employees, men and women. So basically, it's a whole lot of nothing, and we're going to debunk every single claim in this New York Times article because there's a lot of BS going out there by Raiders fans against Mark Davis. And we're not going to stand for crap like that, and we are going to tell you the truth. We are also going to show you a bombshell report that proves that the NFL has been trying to replace Mark Davis for the past decade. This is something that every Raiders fan should take seriously if you give a shit about the legacy of Al Davis. We believe the NFL wants Mark Davis out. We're going to explain to you why. Keep in mind, no crime has been committed and no violation of the league rules has been committed, and they even admit this in the article, so you have to ask yourself, why are they publishing this if no crime or rule violation has been committed? It's obviously just to defame Raiders owner Mark Davis and nothing other than that. So what is this New York Times article actually claiming? They say that the organization is in disarray. They have a Stone Age dysfunction. The New York Times, the same publication that leaked John Gruden's emails, which led to him getting ousted, also have the nerve to put unpaid electric bills in this subheading. Let's get into this. So the Raiders are in such disarray, they have unpaid electric bills. The New York Times article says that not long after the move, Mark Davis didn't pay an electric bill. Do we really think the owner of a billion-dollar franchise is in charge of paying the electric bill? How stupid do they think Raiders fans are? And it's not like Mark Davis doesn't have the money to pay a PG&E bill. There was probably just a mistake by his shitty staff. So you have to think, why would New York Times include this? It's because they don't even have damning information on Mark Davis that they have to put this in the title just to make him look bad. This is all about making Mark Davis look bad so the NFL can oust him. Keep in mind, Dan Ventrell was managing this team, so this falls on him, if anything, not Mark Davis. Now, the article alleges that Mark Davis operates in a Stone Age fashion. This is trying to make him look backwards and old-fashioned. They put this in the title, they clickbait and mislead Raider Nation, when really, when they're talking about Stone Age, all they're talking about is the fact that he still uses paper receipts, files, and boxes and warehouses. He hasn't completely digitized all the financial operations of the franchise. Is that really Stone Age? Do you gotta put Stone Age in the title? Just another example where they're trying to make him look bad. Why even include this? Why is this in the New York Times? Don't they have bigger things to investigate, like Brian Flores' lawsuit, like Dan Snyder's situation with the Washington football team? But no, instead they are attacking Raiders owner Mark Davis, one of the poorest owners in the NFL. Now here's the only damning thing they have against Raiders owner Mark Davis, which is that they have had to reach settlements with some cheerleaders in the past, which is that they haven't always paid cheerleaders overtime. This woman, Adams, who used to work for the HR department, claims that she was forced to write descriptions to make it so employees could not file for overtime. Now, the New York Times is trying to make this seem like this is a Raiders-only situation. But Raider Nation, how many jobs have you worked in your own life where employers try to screw you out of overtime? Is this something really peculiar to the Raiders? Or are the New York Times just highlighting this once again to make Mark Davis look like crap? It's a bogus claim, and by the way, Mark Davis isn't necessarily telling people to do this. Ventrell is telling people to write these HR descriptions in this particular way because he is paid to manage this football team financially. The article shows that the team had been sued by former employees who said they didn't get their meal breaks, and the Raiders settled. The Raiders ended up paying out and settling with all these former disgruntled employees, so they fulfilled their obligation. There is no crime committed and there is no violation of the league rules. NFL teams reach settlements with former employees all the time. They constantly have labor disputes. Every franchise experiences this. This is nothing particular to the Raiders. There's even documentaries about this called A Woman's Work about cheerleaders and how they're criminally underpaid in the NFL. You can Google and look up investigations into NFL cheerleading that's been exposed over the past 10 years. This has nothing specifically to do with the Las Vegas Raiders. Why are the New York Times trying to make it seem like it is specific to the Raiders? Now we talk about financial irregularities. Financial irregularities, oh my God, this sounds big and serious. Here's all it is. All it is that the Raiders have bungled tax payments, but none of this constitutes a crime and none of this constitutes a violation of league rules. You're allowed to be clumsy with how you handle your money. It is your franchise. It is your business. The league and the New York Times has no say in this matter. So what is this bungling of tax payments? What it really is that the Raiders have accidentally overpaid taxes. At the league owners meeting last year in 2021, Mark Davis further explained how they overpaid taxes. Some executives and staff members had to be let go because of these bungled tax payments, but it wasn't because they underpaid taxes. It was because they overpaid taxes. If you're a small business owner, you know that it's good to overpay taxes much more than underpay taxes. But the New York Times labels this financial irregularities, trying to make it seem like they're committing a crime, when really it's just not handling your money that well. I guess Mark Davis should have paid less in taxes, is what the New York Times is saying. Kind of like all the billionaires who they want to actually eventually buy this team. The biggest sin that the New York Times claims the Raiders have committed is overpaying taxes. Mark Davis said the controller had to step down because of overpaying taxes. However, the New York Times has a statement from this controller, Grant, and they claim that the Raiders did not overpay taxes and that they did not engage in any financial irregularities in their 20-month tenure with the Raiders. So even the New York Times' own source contradicts them. The New York Times really can't get their facts straight as they try to defame Mark Davis. And here's the cherry on top. Adams, the former HR who said they were forced to write certain descriptions of employees which got them out of overtime payments, says that they have filed a complaint against Mark Davis alleging racial discrimination after she raised concerns about pay disparities and unequal treatment. But due to the New York Times' earlier claims in this article, Mark Davis apparently engaged in underpayment of all employees, all game day employees and staff members. It was not exclusive to just a particular race at all, according to the New York Times. So why are they bringing race into this at all? Is this person just an opportunist trying to get some cash because they know the NFL is out to get Mark Davis and they might as well cash in during his demise? And if Mark Davis is so racist like the New York Times is trying to imply, then why is the second in command of the Raiders organization former player Marcel Reese? The New York Times article also states that Marcel Reese has his ear to Mark Davis even though he does not have that much experience as a business executive. So clearly Mark Davis is not involved in racial discrimination like this former HR department woman says, or else he wouldn't have Marcel Reese so high in command with his organization. This is another example in just this one article where the New York Times contradicts themselves and tries to defame Mark Davis. They try to say he underpays employees, even though every freaking corporation tries to get out of paying people overtime. Every freaking business I've been a part of that pays an hourly wage. They try to imply that he's racist at the end, even though Marcel Reese sits as one of the top executives in the organization. And we know the Davis family was the first organization to hire a black head coach. Yet you're going to try to say this guy discriminates racially? This is BS. And then they try to say they have financial problems and engage in financial irregularities, even though it's just overpaying taxes. That's supposed to be a good thing. And then fourth, they try to say they operate like they're in the Stone Age, even though this just means paper receipts, boxes, and not putting everything on a freaking computer. This is all just to make them look backwards. And everything that you've just heard in this New York Times article is just to defame Mark Davis so the NFL could move on from Mark Davis. That's what this is all about. Let's get into the bombshell report where we know the NFL tried to remove Mark Davis as owner. Let's just say that everything in this article is true, that Mark Davis cannot financially manage the team and people need to step in and help. Well, ownership, the actual owner doesn't handle the finances of the team. These are the people they hire, the executives they hire. So if anything, Mark Davis needs better executives than people like Ventrell, and maybe the NFL should help him get some if it's so important. However, Mark Davis has made a profit. It's not like Vegas is not making money. A recent report shows that Allegiant Stadium is actually making double the amount of money that they originally anticipated. So even the NFL and New York Times claims that Mark Davis is mismanaging the money is slightly false when he is generating more profit than anticipated. In 2014, the NFL briefly contemplated moving the Raiders to St. Louis as a consolation prize for the Rams moving to LA. We know the NFL tried to help the Rams owner hide the fact that they were planning on moving to LA from St. Louis for many years. St. Louis has actually filed a lawsuit against the Los Angeles Rams, and this is ongoing right now. And now this information's coming out without the consent of the fans, without the consent of the owner, or without the consent of the Raiders in general. The NFL conspired to help move the Raiders to St. Louis. In a meeting in November 2014, there was talk of the Raiders making the move with restructured ownership, a brand makeover, and a commitment to special diversity. This was actually in the copy of Roger Goodell's agenda for the meeting in question. So this is a fact. This is a fact that Roger Goodell and several people in the NFL discussed changing the ownership of the Raiders in part of some diversity program, and it was going to be orchestrated by Roger Goodell. Eventually, the plan fell through, but this is what they've been talking about since 2014. So you have to ask yourself, Raider Nation, what is this all about? What is Dan Ventrell's claims, about a hostile environment for women all really about? What is this New York Times article that says it's a dysfunctional organization all about? And what is this freaking hit job that happened against John Gruden in the middle of a season when it could have happened in July just to screw over the Raiders? What is this all about? It's all about changing ownership. It's about getting rid of the legacy of Mark Davis and Al Davis and the Davis Davis family. That is what's going on here, everybody. This has been in the works for over a decade. 3 years after Al Davis's death, this was discussed. How could we take the team away from the Davis family? That's what the NFL has been trying to figure out how to do. And now the dominoes are falling. Everything is happening right now. We've seen it start with the Gruden hit job. The second that Mark Davis maneuvered in a brilliant way with Jerry Jones to help move the team to Vegas when the NFL originally wanted to force them to St. Louis against their will, he found a way to fight back. He found a way to fight back and move the team to Vegas. And now they're going to do anything they can right now to take the team away from Mark Davis. The process has already started. They're trying to ruin Mark Davis's reputation. They're trying to make it seem like there's chaos within the organization. They even have the freaking nerve to talk about Henry Ruggs and Damon Arnett in this New York Times article. Why would you talk about that? Every team has players getting arrested all the time. And when you look at over the past 20 years, Raiders aren't even ranked that high in crime with their players. Teams like the Chiefs and Broncos are way ahead of the Raiders. What they want to do, Raider Nation, is convince you to hate Mark Davis. Convince you to think he's a problem and that the Raiders would be better off without him, so they can go in and install any billionaire they want to take over this team, and they could totally get rid of Al Davis's legacy with the NFL. Al Davis has had a contentious relationship with the NFL since the Raiders joined the NFL after Al Davis was the commissioner of the AFL. Let me tell you something. This is another thing that they mentioned in this article, which is that an estate tax obligation could force Mark Davis to sell the team. As soon as Carol Davis passes away, Mark Davis will be forced to pay an estate tax. Carol Davis is the technical owner of the team, and this estate tax will be a hefty chunk of money. You've seen the Dolphins owner and the original Washington football team owner have to sell the team because of this estate. But Mark Davis could afford to pay for this estate tax by cashing out some equity, since the Raiders franchise has boosted in value since the move to Vegas. However, Mike Florio's article here is alluding to the fact that Mark Davis might not be able to pay it. I personally think he would be able to pay it, especially if he cashed out the equity for this team. And I really do believe the NFL and the media are working in collusion to put the message out there that Mark Davis might not be able to afford to be the Raiders owner. That way, when he is forced out, it is more easy to do because the public perception will be that Mark Davis should not be the owner of the Raiders. So they're putting all this information out there to make you want. They want to make you want Mark Davis gone. But we're going to be here to debunk this BS, because there's a lot of BS being pushed out there by even people who claim to be Raiders fans, content creators, and bloggers. They're just agreeing with whatever BS the NFL tells them to agree with. We're going to actually dive deep and analyze these things like we've done today and show you how it amounts to complete BS and just defamation against Mark Davis and the Raiders. This is a coordinated attempt by the NFL to remove Mark Davis as the owner of the Las Vegas Raiders, and they really don't think much of Raiders fans because they are willing to try to do this less than a year after the Gruden hit job. They think Raiders fans have already forgotten about the Gruden hit job. Oh, we made the playoffs. Oh, we got Josh McDaniels. Oh, we got Devontae Adams. Well, guess what? They are going to do step number 2 and try to get rid of Mark Davis, and they don't even give a shit how soon after it is from the Gruden hit job, because they believe that Raiders fans are too dumb to even notice it. So what have we learned today? We learned that the most damning allegation in this New York Times article, overpayment of taxes, is contradicted by this very same article. We learned that Dan Ventrell tried to trick us into thinking that Mark Davis was a sexual harasser, which is complete bullshit. And we also learned that the NFL has been trying to get rid of Mark Davis since 2014. That's a fact. Even if you don't like Mark Davis, just try to think critically and understand what the hell is going on here. This is wrong, this is unfair, and this is another example of the NFL mistreating the Davis family and the Raiders organization. And any Raiders reporter, blogger, or YouTuber who just immediately sides with the NFL and New York Times, they clearly haven't done their homework, and you should not listen to a word they say, because they are clearly not interested in the truth. We guarantee that we will be following this story closely and giving you the truth, not just regurgitating what the New York Times wants you to believe. We're going to follow the facts closely, dig deep into it. Make sure you subscribe to this channel if you want to see more information about this. My name is WiFiWillie of the Raiders Rundown. We hope you take everything we've said here seriously.